Kuphina kuphi emakhaya amadolobheni aseComplasta khona sasingenile ke mangavula nje sitokhuluma tindzaba takho nineke bathengi and welcome to this week's edition of Yilungelo Lakho. It's your ride. Lehlelo ke silethela bukhoma lapha kumahamba phambili SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Bekunene sesifikile isikhathi sekuthi ke sikhokhe ke umthelo. The tax filing season is upon us and of course the taxman wants his pound of the flesh, albeit under the current harsh economic situations and the new way of life imposed by COVID-19 conditions. Mina ke ngisimphiwe Ngongwane kanti ke leli Lungelo Lakho. With many economic activities severely hampered by the lockdown regulations, you'd actually think that the filing your tax returns is also in that mix. On the contrary, though, SARS has come up with innovative ways that will ensure that taxpayers comply just at a click of a button on your computer or even on your smartphone. Kukhuluma kabantu ke bekunene ngawo konke lekumele usukwadi ngekukhokha kwemthelo kulomnyaka ke ngephasi kwetindleko ke noma the COVID-19 asimukele ke Denzulu ubuya ke lapha ke South African Revenue Services SARS and a very warm welcome to you babe siyakumule ehleleni sawubona
mfethu
Asosichazele kabantu ke babezulu ukuthi sikhuluma ngeauto assessment basebanenge labangayadi ukuthi yile auto assessment nethi ke isebenza kanjani
sakazi i-auto assessment umsebenzi owenziwe nguSARS ukuthe ekuqaleni nge-15 zika-April kuze kube i-31 zikaMay uSARS uthathe yonke information yabasebenzi from their employers wafuna neminye imininingwane yabakhokhi bentela emabhangi kuma insurance companies wathola yonke lonto leyo wayithatha wayiletha la kwaSARS sasesenza sahlanganisa sifuna ukubona ukuthi uSimphiwe unentela engakanani asikweleta yona okanye sinemali engakanani esikweleta uSimphiwe so siyakwenzela lokho Simphiwe ngaphandle kokuthi wena ugcwalise assessment okanye uze eSARS yikho lokho sithi phecelezi sithi i-auto assessment wena uhlele ekhaya uhlele khona sithathe yonke imininingwane yakho senza i-auto assessment baphecelezana ilokho nje
manje kule auto assessment babezulu SARS utati ngani tindzaba tami wathi ngani ukuthi ngine retirement package kuphi wathi ngani ukuthi ngine medical aid kuphi tindzaba tami tonke nje SARS utati ngani if mina ngingakayi le ka SARS ngawungena eoffice yakhona ngayofile ema tax return ami
kumbula ke Simphiwe ukuthi njoba uyi South African citizen une ID number yakho i-ID number yakho le yenza ukuthi thina siye kuzo zonke indawo njoba usho i-retirement annuity yakho lake sithi i-retirement annuity yakho ise-Liberty Life i-Liberty Life isithumela yonke lo information ngawe no-Old Mutual bathumele so wonke ama-insurance companies athumela lonke lo mininingwane kuSARS namabhangi athumela imininingwane kuSARS regarding i-interest oyitholile kanti ne-employer yakho ithumele i-information yakho kuSARS ngemali oyiholile whether kube i-commission noma kube ama-fees noma ama-bonus so yonke le mininingwane yakho your financial affairs siyazazi SARS ngokuthi sithole kuma what we normally call third party data providers.
Okay, lokusho ukuthi SARS utawusebenzisa nje i-ID number yami kuphela so kude indlela ekuthi mina ngamdoja SARS ngibhace emva kwelicembe
akulula ukumdoja uSARS ngoba khumbula ke ukuthi umqashi wakho uthatha intela kuwe ayilethe kithi ne-ID yakho ne-tax number yakho, so uma usebenza uqashiwe akulula ukumbalekela usasa.
Hey babezulu yathi kubonakala ngathi SARS manje sowenta tinto tibe lula, bebasolo bangakwendi ngani yonke leminyaka lokhu SARS. Bebasolo nje basigcilatelane ukuthi siyohlala emahhovisi aka-SARS kuphele boma 5 hours nabogogo nabomkhulu lapha sihlale sinyathelane nabo lapha ka-SARS. Kuya ngani lokuthi SARS introduce le auto assessment manje?
Uma ungakhumbula kahle Simphiwe ukuthi since last year uSARS ubeyiqalile into ye-auto assessment. Kodwa i-auto assessment yalast year besiyiqala sisayibona ukuthi izosebenza kanjani. Sitheke ngokuphucuka kwe-technology nokuthi we want to digitalize things. This year ke nakuqhamuka u-COVID wasinika ithuba sokuthi siphangise senze ngespeed ukuthi si-digitalize zonke lezi zinto lezi. Senzela ogogo nomkhulu nabo bonke nabasha ukuthi bangagcwala emahhovisini ethu bame isikhathi eside. Futhi njengoba kunale gciwane elikhona bonakela ukuthi kufanele ukuthi senze for sure ukuthi abantu they don't transmit igciwane. So we've taken over 3.1 million taxpayers sabafaka kule auto assessment. Okusho ukuthi einkundleni zethu or kumahhovisi ethu we do not expect labantu about 3.2 million ukuthi beze kithi ngoba sesibenzela umsebenzi.
Okay, lengikuvile ke ukuthi akusibo bonke ke labatawendelwa le auto assessment. Sichazele kabanti ke uzame ukusichazela in detail ukuthi bobani labata auto assesswa bobani futhi labangeke.
Abantu esibathola ukuthi kulula ukuthi siba auto assesse abantu abawu 3.2 million. Bonke labantu esibatholile kakhulukazi futhi abantu abasebenzela uhulumeni or umuntu osebenzela umqhashi oyedwa onentela what we call it a simple tax. We are earning a salary bese sihamba sikoleka yonke information yakho to an extent that when we are comfortable ukuthi we think we've got enough information about uSimphiwe, then we auto assess those people. Bese kuba nabanye abantu beSimphiwe abanama tax affairs are complicated, maybe ama structures abo are complicated, abanye bane rental income nazo zonke lezi ezinye izinto income esingayazi thina esingayitholanga kuma third party providers. Labo ke okumele bagcwalise ama tax return. Ukwagcwalisa kwabo nabo lawo abagcwalisa lawo ama tax return akusho ukuthi kumele beze kuma office ethu. They can still use e-filing and Mobi app.
Okay, babezulu njoba sosichazeleke kabanti i-background yale auto assessment nekuthi ke bobani kumele bayitfole leyo auto assessment. Ngicela ukuthi ke unike umzuzwana sesike sidlale ke nayi clip yemininingwane ukuthi ke step by step process isebenta kanjani le auto assessment. Let's take a look at this.
You would have received the auto assessment via SMS, but to accept it, you must be registered on e-filing or Mobi app. Log into e-filing using your existing username and password. You will land on the e-filing dashboard. A message headed, "You have been auto-assessed" will be displayed. Click on the View button to view the auto-assessment. A pop-up message that SARS has simulated a tax calculation for you will be displayed. Click on Continue to be able to view your simulated assessment. A simulated assessment results will be displayed on your screen. Carefully go through the assessment to check that the details are correct. If you're in agreement with the simulated results of your assessment, click on the Accept button. If you do not agree with the simulated results, click on Edit Return, which will open up your pre-populated ITR 12 return for you to edit, complete and submit to SARS. Once accepted, you'll be taken back to the return search page. On the 2020 return, click the Open link. This will take you to your income tax work page where you can view your ITA 34. A pop-up will display about your assessment being issued. Click Open, and the ITA 34 will be presented, and you can go through it. Here you will see if you have money refundable to you or payable by you. You can close the page once you're done. The status of your income tax return will now be displayed as filed through e-filing on your income tax work page. Congratulations, you have successfully accepted your auto-assessment.
Okay, Baba Zulu, asosithi fahla kancane nje for kulabo ke babukeli labangakayivisisi kahle ke le clip lena ukuthi ichaza kuthini ukuthi ke the step by step process ukuthi auto assessment yenteka kanjani.
I-clip le oqeda ukudlala Simphiwe kusho ukuthi yonke le information ebesengishilo ukuthi seyisikolekile ngawo kuzo zonke lezi ndawo lezi ubusungena ke wena ku-e-filing. And before ungena ku-e-filing ngezi first zika-August or before i-first zika-August bonke labantu abawu-3.2 million bazobe bethole i-SMS ekutshelayo ukuthi uSARS useyenzile i-auto assessment yakho bese iyakuthumela-ke ukuthi hamba uye ku-e-filing noma uye kwi-mobile app on your tablet bese una ungena ku-e-filing uzologa in ne-password yakho nange-user ID yakho and it assumes at that time ukuthi you are a registered e-filer or user i-mobile app. Uma usungenile lapho izokutshela ukuthi you have been auto-assessed bese ikutshengisa ukuthi vula i-auto assessment leso bese uyavula-ke uyibone iy'namba zakho. Isikhathini esiningi njengoba wazi ukuthi une-RIP5 ozobe unikwe umqhashi wakho usuya-check-ke nale RIP5 yakho ukuthi yonke le information umqhashi wakho ayifake ku-RIP5 ikhona la ku-SARS. Uma unama-retirement annuity uloku uya-check. Uma uvumelana nokuthi zonke iy'nombolo eziku-RIP5 nakuma-retirement annuity akho naku-medical aid yakho ubone ukuthi ngempela ziyamatcha ngamashi, then usuya-accepta upressa yona ucofoza ibutton leli accept. Nasu acceptile-ke kusho ukuthi-ke usuqedile no-SARS. Uma ukuthi siyakweleta sizokutshela-ke ukuthi sikweleta imali engaka. Uma usikweleta nawe sizokutshela ukuthi usikweleta imali engaka. Kuyenzeka-ke like for instance kuthiwe une-travel allowance ngoba i-travel allowance yakho asiyazi. Uzoyibona i-assessment yakho bese uyabona ukuthi hayi i-travel allowance yami angayifaki. Bese uyangena la ukuthi edit assessment. Kofoze lapho bese iyakuthumela ukuthi vula i-return step by step uzohamba-ke ufake lemininingwane le ebishodayo bese uyayisave i-return yakho bese uyayisubmita ku-SARS bese sikwenza i-assessment. Nakhona lapho nawuqeda uku-edita sizokutshela ukuthi siyakukolota okanye wena uyasikweleta. Iphela kanjalo-ke mfowethu.
Baba Zulu khona-ke labo-ke bebabhonce tindlebe kuloko lesikukhulumayo, kepha-ke ukhuluma indzaba ye-refund, tindlebe tase-ke tiyavuleka. Ngitawucela ukuthi uhlale nje kancane elayinini, sitawuchubeka nale nkulumo yethu emva kwaleli khefu. Mbukele-ke asesithi khefu lapha ekhefini sitawubuya khona nyalo. Sanamukela bekunene ke hlelweni lakho ilungelo lakho, it's your right. Tincingo tethu sesetivuliwe ukuthi nawe ungaba ingcenye yale nkulumo yethu. Shayela kucingo ku-011 714 6918 noma ke 011 714 6919. Ungasifumela futhi ne-email ku-consumer@sabc.co.za. Ungaphinza futhi usithole ke ku-Facebook. Namhla ke bekunene sikhuluma ke nge-auto assessment lendiwo ke ngisazi. Lokusho ukuthi kude sidingo sekuthi wena uye emahhovisi aka-SARS niyonyathelana nebantu kuphele bo 5 hours solo nihleti lapha lapha ngigadze ukuthi tax return ethu ayafayilelwa. SARS ke sona tifo tabalula ukuthi unga-assessa noma ke ufile ama-returns akho from the comfort of your own home. Lokumele ukuthi ukwende nje ukuthi ungene kulama mobile apps njengoba sekasichazele ke babezulu sitawukhuluma naye ukuthi madvute or noma ke ungene ku e-filing yakhe ke SARS. Utasichazela abantu ukuthi wenda njani lokho. Babezulu ngiyathemba ukuthi sesenathi siyakumukela.
Ngiyabonga mfowethu.
Okay, so ndawati kanjani ke ukuthi kumele ngibe auto assessed? Do I have to ask my employer noma mina ndavele ngibone nje ngama SMS?
Uma uzoba auto assessed uzothola i-SMS iningi labantu, in fact 3.2 million sebeyitholile lo SMS from the beginning of August. Uma ungayitholanga ke i-SMS kushuthi awuzu auto assessa wena, uzomela ukuthi uyifile i-return yakho. Uma uyifile i-return yakho uzoqala ukuyifila from the 1st of September. Ngokuyifila futhi akusho ukuthi na ufile i-return kumele uye kwa-SARS. Kumele uregister ku-e-filing okanye udownload i-app yethu lesibiza ngokuthi i-Mobi app. Nakhona uma nawungena ku-e-filing na ku-Mobi app uzoyithola yonke imininingwane yakho ikhona lapho bese uyaconfirma all steps lezo zijwayele bese uyasubmit.
Okay, ngitfola ke ligama babezulu ukuthi khona ke babukela abacetha ukusijoyina manje they missed out on leyo video. Nangasichazela nje kabantu ukuthi ke nangabe usebenzisa i-mobile app wenda ini noma ke nangabe usebenzisa i-filing wenda njani?
Uma usebenzisa i-filing ku video leyana uyangena izokutshela ilokuza la ku e-filing ukuthi SARS has auto assessed you.
Okay.
And then bese uyayivula leyo auto assessment kune button olcofayo uyivule i-auto assessment yakho. Now usuyivulile ke uzocompare lezi number esukutshengisa zona singu SARS uyicompare ne-RIP5 yakho naye eminye imininingwane yakho uma unama retirement annuities noma i-medical aid uyayicompare bese uthi na usubona ukuthi hayi all is well, le number uSARS angitshengisa zona zifana nalezi RIP5 yami enginikezwe umqashi wami, then uzopressa ibutton ethi accept.
Okay.
And then now so acceptile ke usuqedile lapho sezokutshela ukuthi whether we owe you a refund okanye wena uyasikweleta. Kanjalo naku-Mobi app uma uzosebenzisa iphone like your iPhone, it's exactly the same step. You will open auto assessment to accept and compare the numbers and then you are ready to go. Uma ke uthola ukuthi kuneminye imininingwane esingayazi ngawe like your travel allowance or your rental income uma unenye income uzongena uthi edit i-assessment bese iyakuthatha i-filing or i-Mobi app ikuvulele yonke i-return yakho nakhona ke eminye imininingwane izobe ikhona uzohamba ke ufake le esinganayo like your travel allowance or your rental income or any other things esinganazo nakhona bese uyayisave bese uyayisubmita ku-SARS nakhona futhi sizocalculate ukuthi siyakweleta okanye wena uyasikweleta.
Nako ke ngifuna ukuthi sikudzingithe kabanti ke ukhulume ke for example wende ke sibekiso sabo travel allowance sabo rent ukuthi le mininingwane isebenzela like le auto assessment isebenzela etike mininingwane lengiyo yini noma ke leliciniso, is the information accurate?
The information on auto assessment is very accurate because remember that information we would have got it from the reliable third-party data sources. Like for instance, Liberty Life, Old Mutual, all the insurance companies will never send us incorrect data about your retirement annuities. The banks will never send us incorrect data about the interest that you have earned. It's not an information that thina singu-SARS ukuthi siyayipheka. It's an information that comes from different service providers. Even the salary yakho wena nomqashi wakho yini enaziyo ukuthi uhole malini, if uthola ibonus bengakanani ibonus yakho, basinikeza yonke le information. So we don't manipulate that data, we take that data solid as it is and then we populate it on your return. So to answer your question, is the information correct? Yes, it is correct.
Nangabe kunjalo ke babezulu uyangani ke lokuthi bantu baphoceleleke ukuthi ba-edit le auto assessment nangabe le information is correct?
Now we edit i-auto assessment usuke u-edita i-information esinganayo. Like for instance, angazi mina uSimphiwe ukuthi uthola i-rental income. Asazi thina singu-SARS ukuthi uSimphiwe unomunye umuzi athola i-rental income le. So that information asizukuba nayo, yiyo lo uzohamba wena uyifake. Kube futhi ne-travel la ilokuza if uzoclaim ama-kilometers owa-travelers. Ngeke sazi thina uSimphiwe ukuthi uhamba kanjani. Uyangena ke bese ufaka lo information. But i-information efana no retirement annuities leyo siyiphethe, yiyo leyo ongakwazi ukuyi-edita. But lokho kunye esinganako yiko lokho ku-editayo.
Lokushothi ke mina ke sengin you've saved me the trouble yakuhamba ngiyotfola bo IRP5 bo medical certificate bo tax certificate angikwendi konke lokho ngisaso tokwenda lokho angisho.
Thina nje uSARS ngoba sinayo le information siyakwenzela konke lokho. But nawe khumbula Simphiwe ukuthi umqashi wakho, your employer would have given you your RIP5. So you keep your RIP5 as part of your documentation just to make sure, to give yourself comfort that the information that SARS displays on the screen, it's exactly the same information as what you've got on your document.
So under what circumstances do I reject or not accept e-auto assessment? Kusuke sekwende njani ke lapho?
If you reject it, it will be based on ukuthi there is certain information thina esingayazi ngawe. That's the only time where you reject. And rejection wako, it doesn't mean reject and then that's the end. You must go and put that information that you think we don't have.
So who bears the honors of ensuring lokuthi yonke le mininingwane ingiyo noma ke iliqiniso?
Wena as like for instance as umsebenzi like ake sithi usebenzela iNetbank, between you and your employer you make sure ukuthi if the employer yakhe ithi uSimphiwe uhole i100 rands, nawe you must vumelana ukuthi lokuza uhole i100 rands. So it's between you and your employer. But the taxpayer, wena Simphiwe, nguwena who needs to make sure that what we have is accurate.
Okay, those who are working from home, njengoba ke lelibhubhane ke le coronavirus selibhidlangile, ngiklema kanjani? Nangabe ke ngitendela ibhizinisi yami, I use my own electricity, I use my own stationery, I use my own data. Kuthi nabe sekumele ngikleme ke kuthi lapho ke ngenta njani? Ngichazele baba.
Njoba sisebenzela ekhaya from kulonyaka lo omusha we-tax season oqalayo uzokwazi ukuclaima what call it ukusebenzela ekhaya. But ke uma uclaima lokusebenzela kwakho ekhaya, you can't claim ukuthi you don't have an office ekhaya. You must be able to have a dedicated place that we are working in. You can't claim for ukuthi uhlala ku dining room table and then claim that as my expenses ukuthi usebenzela ekhaya. It must be a proper office that's designed for you to work at home. So from next year, not now, people should not make a mistake and think ukuthi they can claim from working at home in this current tax season. Next year, when we open the tax season, then you'll be able to claim the expenses that you have incurred this year, only next year.
Okay, babezulu asishiye khona lapho sitawuchubeka futhi nenkulumo yethu emva kwaleli khefu. Bekunena sibambe khona lapho sesishelele ngasetitolo siyabuya khona nyalo. Leli ilungelo lakho. Leli ilungelo lakho. Asinamukele ke bekunene ke usehlele lakho ilungelo lakho it's your right namhla ke sikhuluma ke nge-auto assessment njengoba senathi ke ukuthi i-tax season seyivele icalile kunanaku lethiwa ke auto assessment which means ukuthi sekude sidingo sethi wena uye emahhovisi aka-SARS uyoclaima khona SARS utakwendela yonke lendvo wena ube utihlalele ekhaya. Share your thoughts with us. Call us on these numbers 011-714-6918 noma ke 011-714-6919. Sinaye ke elayinini babeden Zulu uchamuke lapha eSARS. Babeden, just before we went to that ad break bosasichazela kabanti ke ngekuclaima nangabe usebentela ekhaya. Asosichazele ke babe ukuthi nangabe ngifuna kuyoclaima ukuthi ngisebenta ekhaya ngisebenzisa idata yami ngasebenzisa nagesi wami ngasebenzisa nema premises ami kahle kahle yini lekumele ngiphathe ukuze uthi ngiclaim ngoba angeke manje ngithwala inhloko nje kumele khona lekumele ngiphathe ukuthi yini lokho.
Remember from next year ngifuna ukugcizelela ukuthi you can start claiming those expenses from next year when the filing season opens. If, like, for instance, you were using your own data, you should keep those receipts. If you want to claim for electricity, so there must be documentation. You can't just say, I was using my own data, so and then thumbs up a figure. You must be able to prove to SARS ukuthi you were buying data to use it for the benefit of your employer. So there must be proof and documentation that you keep.
Okay, nangabe ke kune discrepancy, for example, ngithola i-SMS about ama-discrepancies ema-tax return ami last year, noma ke eminyaka lophelile, yini lama discrepancy nekuthi ke kutayithikameta yini i-filing yami yalo mnyaka?
If kube nama discrepancies from the previous years. If you have discrepancies from the previous years, you can either contact us using email addresses. We've got email addresses where you can contact us as SARS or on our SARS website, or you can make an appointment to one of our branches, and then they will be able to assist you on whatever the discrepancies were. Alternatively as well, you can phone our call center and they'll be able to help you.
Here's where it gets interesting. Inzaba ye-refund. Under what circumstances does SARS refund me? Noma ke kusuke sekunjani mina nakumele ngibhadale SARS ngoba phela SARS uyayithatha i-tax every single month kepha uthola ukuthi ngiyam-owa SARS yini lese ngim-owa yona ke?
I-refund ake siqale nge-refund. I think iyabajabulisa abantu abaningi nabethola i-refund. Nas-calculator senza i-assessment yakho, we base it on tax tables which are built into the system to say uSimpiwe intela okumele ngabe uyibhadalile for the entire tax year, it's so much. Bese sibheka ukuthi wena udeclare kanjani. Uzothola futhi ikakhulukazi abantu abaye bathole ama-refund ukuthi une-retirement annuity, whereas emsebenzini bebengayazi the-retirement annuity uyibhadalela yona ko-Old Mutual or Liberty Life. Or futhi une-medical aid, inkampani bi-deduct imali medical aid and then uhambe uye ko-doctor and then uthole ukuthi kunezinye izimali okumele uyibhadale abo-doctor over and above. So nasihlanganisa lezo zinto lezo sizothola ukuthi usubhadale intela eningi compared to the other one. That's nasihlanganisa siyabona ukuthi hayi ke uSimpiwe kusho ukuthi unama deductions adlulile, then that constitutes a refund.
Okay.
And then ilo mali esezokubhadala yona.
So how long does it take to process a refund?
Simply, I'll give you an example. Like I filed my return when on the 3rd of August, and on the 5th of August I got my refund. So it takes around 72 hours if there is no need for any audit to be done and everything is in place, we can prove that everything is right, it's a minimum 72 hours you will get your refund.
Loku confuse-ako ke noma ke loku sididako ukuthi nangabe i-tax maybe pays you earning bhadala 25% every single month angayitholi income angayitholi i-increment ngide an extra source of income kude ne-medical aid lengibhadalako kepha ngithola sengiyam-owa SARS ngim-owelani ke
Uzotola, I'll give you an example because there would be many instances in which you can owe SARS. You will find certain employers, remember our tax tables, ayashintsha every year from the 1st of March. Taxes in the end of February. 1st of March, employers are supposed to use the new tax tables. You'll find certain employers are still using the old tax table. Then you will find, like let's say for argument's sake, the tax rate goes up, but your employer was still using the previous tax tables where it was a lower tax rate. So those are some of the things that can end up with you owing to SARS.
Okay, let's take our first caller. Sina John, go lapha emlaza. Sakumoya John enhlelweni sawubona.
Ngiyabonga bhuti ukhuluma no John Willie la eDavidton baba ka Big 5. Angikho emlaza eDavidton.
Okay, siyabonga kakhulu ukusishayela baba. Sakumoya ehlelweni baba. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Umbuto wami lo babe lokhuluma lapho ngoba ngifo ngikhuluma ngama auto access. Thina esingawathola ngama auto access kumele sente njani mangabe singakhona ukudownload noma app akhuluma ngawo. Number 2, i-SARS mina ngathi ukuthi kumele bangithekisa malini kumele bangidonsela malini mangabe ngikhola or 1000 i-tax kumele ngibabhadale yona angiyathi ukuthi ingumalini kumele ngibabhadale yona ayifani UIF ngiyathi ukuthi mangikhole 1000 kumele bangithathele 10 manje bona ngathi ukuthi ku1000 bathatha malini and then futhi lokunye ngithola ama-RP5 kumele ngiwa-return back kwa-SARS if angiwa-return back kunama-charges abangi-charge wona na John Willie baba ka Big 5 umbumba.
Okay, John siyabonga kakhulu ukusishayela. John ke ubute imibuto lemibili. Ngiyasemba ukuthi uyivile lapho babezule lemibuto lebuto ngiJohn. Ngoba lecala ukhulume ukuthi nangabe ude i-mobile app ude futhi nala ama facilities lo wachazile ukuthi kumele siwasebenzise kumele ente njani yena kwesibili ubute ukhulumeke nangema inconsistencies imali kumele ngibhadale eSARS ngoba ubekuse nge-UIF kuthi yena uyathi ukuthi imali letside ke lebekiwe lekumele usayibhadale i-UIF kepha nje eSARS ngathi iyashintsha there's no consistency there so ungamchazela kabanti ke lapha baba
ngiyabonga bhuti wami umbuzo wakhe wokuqala ukuthi uma engakwazi ukudownloada or ukusebenzisa uMobi app no e-filing uBut John angenza i-appointment no SARS njobe uhlala eDavidton angenza i-appointment with one of the branches I think iBoksburg kune branch lapho and then bazokwazi ukumsiza kanti ke naku-SARS noma uyile kwa-SARS if une-phone downloada mhlawumbe abanye abantu ababi ne-data siyakwazi ukuthi ebranchini ufike ujoyine i-Wi-Fi yethu bese uyayidownloada i-app ku-phone yakho or wenze i-filing.
Okay, then kulombuto wesibili ngindzaba ye-inconsistency ukuthi imali kayibhadala ku-SARS ngathi iyahluka manje iyashintsha
isikhathi esiningi bhuti angazi ukuthi izoshintsha kanjani ngoba thina singu-SARS kunama-tax tables asetshenziswa i-employer yakhe as-deduct imali kuJohn ideductwa umqhashi kaJohn ilo mali leyo and umqhashi kaJohn naye ideducta imali usuke esebenzisa the right tax tables and normally umsebenzi we-payroll yomqhashi kaJohn.
Okay, asishiye lapho baba sitawuchubeka futhi nenkulumo yethu emva kwelekhefu. Mbukeli, asasiphinde sibuyele Titolo. You can join us shortly after this break. Welcome back, everybody. We're still discussing tax matters, and my guest is Dan Zulu from the South African Revenue Services, SARS. Our participation lines will be on your screens right in just a moment. There we go. 011-714-6918. Number 011-714-6919. You can also catch us on Facebook. But before we continue our conversation, let's take our next caller. Sina Eric Wilapa El Palale. Sagumura Eric El Sholin Sawbona.
Ngiyabonga njani baba?
Siyaphila kunjani baba?
Ha ngiyaphila.
Khuluma nathi baba. What's on your mind?
Ngifuna ukubuza lapho mina I'm thinking since 2015 ngisebenza ngitaxiwa yabona. So manje angikhoni mina ukuthi ngayenza i-claim. Angina next le bangiphethisa yona e-company yami ukuthi ngahamba ngiye ku SARS ngiyoclaima ngayo. Angina ne-number angazi ukuthi ngifuna mina ngiyenze kanjani. Sorry.
Uthi i-tax number kepha inkampani iyayithatha imali ye-tax.
Bayithatha since 2015 bayithatha le mali manje mina angazi ukuthi iyakuphi iphelela ku SARS or angazi ukuthi kwenzekani ngoba la ku payslip ibhaliwe yona mara mina anginayo i-tax number ukuthi ngaya ema-office yaka SARS ngithi hayi mina ngifuna ukuclaima or maybe ngiyakweleta ku SARS or ngarefundiwa angazi ukuthi ngiqale kuphi.
Lokusho ngalama fisha ude ne-tax number ude ne-IRP5 le bayibakunike kona ngesikhathi sekuclaima.
Abaniki next anginayo last ngababuza ukuthi hey ngiyenza kanjani mina ukuthi ngiclaime bafonela uma office yaka SARS angazi bakhulume kanjani ababuya ngibheke kimi ngitshela ukuthi hey izinto zakho zijame kanjena kanje mara i-tax yona bayithatha.
Okay, sicela ukuthi ubambe ke ungabeki phasi Eric siyathemba ukuthi babezulu umvile lapha Eric ukuthi uthini so ungamphendula.
No
ngizwile but Eric kuma pay slip akho bayakutshengisa ukuthi bathathe i-tax engakanani.
Iyatshengisa yona ku pay slip.
So since 2015 abakuniki RIP5.
Akuna next ngitholayo and angazi mina ukuthi ngiqale kuphi lento ukuthi ngikhona ukubona ukuthi ngempela le mali iyafika ku SARS or mina ngifuna ngihambe kanjani angazi lapho.
Okay. Kutwami ke ngoba it looks like your employer akenzi izinto ngokufanele. Ngicela ke ukuthi uye ku SARS website www.sars.gov.za uregister for ucheke ukuthi une tax number ngoba if umqashi wakho ediducta i-tax kuwe kusho ukuthi kumele ube ne-tax number ufike lapho ku website yethu ufaka i-ID yakho and then namagama akho ne-email yakho izokutshengisa i-tax number yakho if une-phone izoyithumela kwi-cellphone yakho uzothola i-SMS ekutshelayo ukuthi this is your tax number kusho ukuthi umqashi wakho you've got the tax number but uma ungena lapha uthola ukuthi akuna tax number ukuthi uregisterile kusho ukuthi umqashi wakho akenzi into efanele yibo labaqashi esingu-SARS esibafuna ukubazi ukuthi bangobani laba bathatha abadiducta i-tax ebantwini kanti abayibhadali ku-SARS. Uyakwazi futhi nokuthi butwami wenze i-appointment ku-SARS uthathe zonke ama-payslip if ubuwabeka from 2015 uwalethe ku-SARS ngoba ama-payslip lawo anegama lokuthi umqashi wakho ngubani thina-ke sesizokwazi ukudila nomqashi wakho.
Okay, sabo kakhulu ke kuleyo nchazelo. Nawe ke Eric ngiyathemba ukuthi usitagele ke kulolu hlangothi sicela ke ukuthi uthatha ipen neliphepha ubhale nathi inombolo it's on your screens right now. Nanonke ke bekunene lento awudinga ukuthi kwathi kabanti ngalendzaba ye-auto assessment noma ke indzaba ke temthelo take this number on your screens right now. Siphinde sibe nayo futhi ku Facebook yethu. Kwanye lokho asiphinde sibuyele ngasetolo sitawubuya kuthi mathude.
Yilungelo
Siyanimukela futhi ke bekunene siyaqhubeka futhi nenkulumo yethu. Kepha singaqhubeki, let's take our last caller Sinampho ulapha eNasport. Siyakumukela ehlelweni baba sawubona.
Yebo kunjani?
Siyaphila kunjani baba?
Ngiyaphila man.
Siphilile baba. Khuluma nathi baba. What's on your mind?
Okay. I'm paying for 5 cars, ne? And also for insurance for those 5 cars. And the source of income is the salary only. So I want to know, do I then put them as part of documents for claiming?
Sicela uphindze umuntu wakho baba.
I'm paying for 5 cars.
And
I have contracts for those cars. I pay tax on them. And then I also pay insurance for those cars.
Okay.
So when it comes to tax returns, do I have to attach those documents so that I can get something or maybe see if I owe SARS?
Okay, so leti moto utisebenzisa for private use or for business?
For business, I just changed them.
Okay, all right. Siyabonga kakhulu kulo mbuto lo Mpho. Babezulu. Uthi ke Mpho ubuta ukuthi unetimoto leting 5 and ubhadala i-tax for leto moto leto futhi ubhadala ke ne-insurance leto moto leto utisebenzisa for i-business ukuthi yini lekumele aku-attach lapho nakafuna uku-claim.
Uyisebenzela for i-business
unetimoto leting 5 letimoto utisebenzisela i-business like it's business vehicles. Yeah, and ubhadala i-tax ne-insurance nato ukuthi what needs to be done there?
So he can claim business expenses when he's completing his return. So he needs to have the kilometers and also other expenses for these cars, and then he can declare them.
Okay, all right.
Declare those expenses, yeah.
Okay, yeah, singakagqogqothele lehlelo babezulu. Sichazele futhi kabanti ke if you can in greater detail ukuthi what constitutes a taxable income. Ngaphandle kwesalary yini lokunye losingasho ukuthi i-income lengataxwa ngu-SARS. Does SARS consider ukuthi ngiwine ilotho bese iyayitaxa leyo mali leyo noma ke ngidlala emahashi iyayitaxa le mali leyo i-SARS noma ke ngithole imali ye-stokfela ngaDisemba noma ke ngithole nje imali yelifa?
Okay, ngihlale kule yelotho. Ilotho in terms of South African tax laws, it's not taxable. So if ungabamba ilotho today uthole 100,000 yakho yonke. What we constitute as an income, uqala salary becomes obvious. It constitutes an income. Your fees, like let's say you get fees as a director, that is part of income. Bonus, gratuity, uma uthole imali pension, noma uthatha i-leave yakho uyi-earn cash, na uthole commission, nama annuities, ne overtime, no stipend. Those are things as by income, which is classified as income in terms of tax.
Kuna nangumgunyathi ke lese siubonile ke emalangeni ngendzaba ye-SMS letangiphocelela ukuthi ngifake imininingwane etside yami like the fraudulent SMSs ukuthi what should I look out for?
Unfortunately those SMSs zikhona budi and almost every year kunotsotsi abaletha lama SMS.
Okay.
SARS not once will SARS ever send you an SMS where we ask you to give us certain details like your ID number and all those things. SARS will never do that.
Okay.
Any SMS illegitimate ebuya SARS izoqhamuka ku-sars.gov.za.
Babezulu, unfortunately, Babe, sesinyunivers cards, man, I wish you could go on and on with this conversation because it is very pertinent. It is what South Africans need to hear. Babezulu, Denzulu from the South African Revenue Services for the past hour. Let me thank my guest from SARS. Please join us again next Monday for yet another live consumer affairs discussion. For me, Simpio Ngongane and the rest of the team, nisale kahle.
Yilungelo,